Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. Today we've got a community cast with the Wood Elves, who I don't feature enough on my channel, honestly, up against the High Elves. This is Aristodamos playing against Chosen of the Norns here. I believe this was during the ECL. Aristo, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below, but regardless, looking to be a good replay here. Very classic Wood Elf build. We've got two Way Watchers, Deepwood Scouts, and a Waste Stalker. I'm a big fan of Waste Stalkers right now. Love that pick. Glade Lady with Prevanathrema, of course. I'm just assuming, yes. She's also got Arrow of Kurnus as well. Spellsinger, Lore of Life. We've got some Eternal Guard scattered around. A single Sister of Thorn over there. We've also got some Wild Hunters of Kurnos. And that's mostly it for the Wood Elves. Now for the High Elves, going to be led by Teclis on horseback. Got a whole bunch of archers and Lothern Sea Guards, spearmen up front. Looks like some Dragon Princes, the Fireborn even hidden in the back for that elite choice. Already Teclis getting picked at by those Arrows of Kurnos. Very good stuff. Going to be forcing him up to his healing cap. Wow! That was horribly inaccurate from the Waste Stalker. That's the worst Arrows of Kurnus I've ever seen. You, sir, are fired. More Dragon Princes over here. So very interesting. This kind of spread Wood Elf attack here will be decent. Now, the Waste Stalker actually can counterfire against these archers decently. They are accurate enough to kind of hit him. Deepwood Scouts are going to have to be careful. They are outranged by the High Elf archers. So they will take quite a bit of damage there, but since they're operating kind of towards the extreme edge of the range, the High Elf archers will struggle somewhat in terms of their accuracy, and you can see the small hitbox of the Waste Stalker here. He is very hard to hit, even for the accurate High Elf archers. They're going to make some contact with him here, but Aristo's doing a great job kind of dodging back and forth, debating those shots out, and not taking too much damage. Meanwhile, the Deepwood Scouts can then come forward and actually start to shoot counterfire at the archers, and they'll do very nice damage there. And it looks like the Waste Stalker is also shooting Teclis, which is just great. Providing some consistent DPS as Aristo coming to maneuvers his infantry forces. Prepares battle in that way, so yeah, it's going to be a bit of an extended skirmish phase, as you would imagine, between two shooty elf factions. The Way Watchers have yet to make their presence felt, though, and they can definitely start to just absolutely nuke units, and they outrange the High Elf archers, right? They've got 190 range as compared to 180 of the High Elf archers, so they can take a volley, then pull back, take a volley, pull back, rinse, and repeat. And that will be able to kind of pull the High Elves out of their defensive position here, so it should be pretty decent. You will have to watch out for the Dragon Princes hitting the woods here, obviously. If Wild Hunters of Kurnos don't get charged, if they can get like a side or rear charge on the Dragon Princes, they will wreck them. That high charge bonus, anti-large, magic damage, all that jazz. Looks like another Arrow of Kurnus going to be used, and it hits actually the Fireborn who revealed themselves and takes out quite a few unit models. That is a really nice use of that Arrows of Kurnus. It's essentially like the Wood Elves cannon, right? You really don't have any artillery with the Wood Elves, but that can sort of almost act as an artillery. Here you can see this Lothern Sea Guard a little bit overextending here, maybe potentially going to get punished by these Eternal Guard, but nope, the Wild Hunters and the Spellsinger pull back. Just the Way Watchers providing some counterfire at this point. Those are shielded Lothern Sea Guards, so they'll take maybe not the full brunt of the damage there, but still taking quite a bit. In return, though, these Deepwood Scouts have been whittled away. The Waste Stalker's also been whittled away a little bit, so definitely going to be pretty interesting as these Elven archers start to make their way forward. Chosen of the Norns trying to stay tight here to his spears as much as he can while continuing to fire. You can see the shots being thrown at the flying units are going to be relatively inaccurate. The Dragon Lady has actually taken some damage here, but yeah. Might fast forward a little bit through this skirmish phase. Maybe not triple time, just double time here as the players kind of trade shots back and forth. Way Watchers so far have got a lot of damage done, and it's mostly been like the Deepwood Scouts taking it on the chin, right? Which is, you know, it's fine. They're not super cheap, but they're also not the Way Watchers, right? So that's fine. The Eternal Guards have been mostly preserved. And the Waste Stalker also has been used to sort of soak a lot of the damage here. And we'll see how much that ends up mattering. The High Elf Archers are starting to get low on ammo, but one of these Lothern Sea Guard is actually preserved. Two of these Lothern Sea Guard looks like actually it preserved their ammunition. Over here, we are going to get a combat. Looks like the Sisters of Thorn discovered the Dragon Princes the hard way. Maybe took a little bit of damage there, but also are doing some nice skirmish damage in return now. That poison, they can also use the Prey of Anathrema and screen out on these Eternal Guards right here. Yeah, you can see the Dragon Princes now realizing they potentially overextended a little bit, are going to pull away there. Surprised to see no Prey of Anathrema to punish them and maybe like swing the Way Watchers up for a big alpha strike there, missile alpha strike, so to speak. But you can see how Chosen of the Norns has sort of been pulled out of position by Aristo, continuously firing and retreating with his Way Watchers. So we're going to continue to fast forward as this skirmish phase keeps on going. Waystalker's going to have to be careful, though. He hasn't really used up too much of his ammo. I almost just wonder if he shouldn't be set to fire at will just so he can be using his ammunition up during this time. But of course, he does have healing as well, so he can heal up that single entity also. The High Elf Bows have been doing some work. You know, it's not like Chosen of the Norns is just sitting here taking it on the chin. Certainly, he's been able to return fire on a few key units here, but the issue is that he's just kind of spreading his damage around. Both players, to be honest, just kind of not able to really concentrate fire, as both of them are doing a good job kind of pulling different units in and out of the skirmish lines here, of the shooting ranges, and now these Eternal Guards are going to maybe concentrate. Nope, looks like they actually pull back there. And here, these Eternal Guards, this is really nice. Oh man, Prey of Anathrema probably going to be used here. If not, the Glady's just going to charge down. That's actually quite strong. Oh, Awakening of the Wood does catch them along with the poison, brings them down to only 21 speed, but very nicely screened with the Spearmen here. The Sisters of Thorn are going to come in and then nope out, maybe? No? Dragon Prince is also noping out there, but we do finally have a little bit of a pitched melee engagement here between some Spearmen and the Eternal Guards here. The Fireborn have been a major magnet for fire here, pun intended. And you can see the Way Watchers are now focusing on them as they are kind of operating within range here. The Spellslinger also comes down to tie down these Dragon Princes. She is going to take a lot of damage here, so she's going to have to be careful of that, but Enfeebling Foe from Teclis, debuffing her stats a little bit, and likewise another Spearman unit over here gets pulled out of position. This is exactly what you need to do. When those units get pulled out of position, just punish them with multiple high-charged units, Wild Hunters of Kurnos, and the Glady coming in here, but looks like a beautiful Fiery Convocation. Although it won't hit many of those units, it is going to force those Wood Elf units away. Might do a little bit of damage there. Unfortunately, they were not able to save those Spearmen. They did get terrified away. But at this point, these, oh man, these Wild Hunters, they're getting into a really bad situation. They're getting side charged by the Fireborn there. They immediately try and pull out of that situation where their speed will allow them to somewhat do so, but still taking a lot of Overwatch fire as well. From those High Elf Bows. You can see here, this is also very bad. The Spellslinger managed to get routed. Despite the healing on her, those Dragon Princes were able to rout her off. So, kind of a lot of back and forth here, but now as the Dragon Princes pull away, it's time for the High Elves to countercharge, and Prey of Anathrema being used on the Fireborn as Wild Hunters of Kurnos and the Sisters of Thorn rear charge them. That is going to be a nightmare scenario for the Fireborn. Will the Wild Hunters actually hold their leadership together, though? These Eternal Guards also supporting this fight very cost-effectively. Dragon Lady drops down over there to try and bail out the Waystalker, and some very key fire coming in from the Way Watchers there, finishing off the Dragonborn just about. No, but will this Spellslinger come back? It doesn't look like that is the case. These Dragon Princes are fast enough to actually, you know, keep up with her while she's on the ground on the Eagle. That is one of the advantages of Dragon Princes. They're one of the fastest elite shock cavalry units, if not the fastest. I think maybe, I'm not sure. Blood Knights actually I think are 76 speed, I want to say. Dragon Princes are 78, so yeah, I'm going to go with that. Fastest, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I'm sure. But here, Teclis gets eaten by the dragon, just about. Terrified away very, very quickly. So both players kind of clawing back and forth at each other. Balance of power still dead even after 11 minutes of shooting and slugging. And yeah, still anyone's game at this point. The Glade Lord is a little bit overextended here by herself, though. She's going to have to be careful. If she can finish Teclis, though, that will be absolutely massive. Enfeebling Foe on the Glady there. The melee defense debuff in particular will be very important, but the last of the Fireborn are continuing to follow up on her. She might be pinned in there, and the other Dragon Prince is coming from the other side, so potential for disaster. We'll see if these if these Way Watchers can get into a position to support, but it does look like the Glady's able to get back up in the air. She can now use her bow to chase Teclis off as she continues to fire at him. It doesn't look like she's actually shooting at him right now, but she can continue to kind of chase and, you know, shoot and everything, and that will eventually see Teclis off of the field. The issue here is there's still so much infantry left for the High Elves, man. All of these archers, even though they're out of ammo, can fight decently. We'll see. Now it looks like the Glady is on fire at will, so taking some pot shots there at Teclis as she kind of flies him off the field. The rest of the cavalry hanging back for the time being. Archers are firing at the Eternal Guards in the distance, but we still have a handful of Waystalkers as well that can fulfill the attacking rules. So it's still anyone's game at this point, honestly. Super, super close battle. Wild back and forth here. We'll pop it in fast forward as Teclis gets chased off. You can see in the distance there the Wood Elf force is kind of rallying. And Teclis actually gets killed rather than being just chased off the battlefield, which is important. That does impact a bigger leadership debuff and a permanent leadership debuff, whereas if your leader just flees, it's a lesser debuff, and also it will go away after a few minutes. I forget exactly how long, so that could end up being critical here, the fact that Teclis was actually killed rather than chased off. But it is going to be an extended end phase here as these Way Watchers try and use up the rest of their ammunition. Lady's going to come back around, and it will really be up to her cycle charge to finish this. Yeah, Prevana Threma there being used on the Lothern Sea Guard, and now I'm wondering if the Glady, looks like a side breath attack there. Does a ton of damage to those Lothern Sea Guard. They have the most ammo out of anyone left, it looks like, so that's actually a pretty smart play. Might have saved that Prevana Threma to try and get a charge on the Dragon Princes, but, you know, it's tough. It's a tough decision to be made, certainly. Pop it back and fast forward as the Way Watchers come forward. They're going to use the last of their shots to probably, finish off this unit of Dragon Princes here. The Glady can use her terror to take out a lot of these tattered infantry units, but the Dragon Princes are a danger to her, so looks like the Wild Hunters of Kurnos going to try and catch them out of position, sort of draw them into the Way Watchers. This is actually kind of decent. If the Way Watchers use up the last of their ammunition and then screen so the Wild Hunters can get the charge, that will be a way that he can take them out here. It looks like at the last second he turns them around. The Glady also coming in for a rear charge, which should proc Terror as the perfectly timed Sisters of Thorn rear charge as well. They're going to be able to chase them off the field, so very nicely done, forcing those Dragon Princes to overextend and now getting rid of them as they are chased away there. The Glady can also pull away. The Way Watchers are going to have to fight in melee at this point, which is not a great situation for them, but the Glady, the Dragon Glady, is here, ready to help. Is that one Dragonborn? One Fireborn with 32 HP is still fighting. Gotta love Elven leadership, man. Well, here come these Lothern Sea Guard. Gonna be fighting their cousins. Their leaf-draped, silly-looking Way Watcher cousins. And here comes the Glady. Is she going to go after that one Fireborn? Oh, no. Oh, no. No, they missed. Oh, man, that's kind of painful. Last of the shots from one of the Way Watchers there, absolutely missing that last one Fireborn. But here he comes. We're going to watch this one brave Dragon Prince as he probably meets his fate here against the Glady. Oh, yep, he's gone. Okay. You had a good run, guy. You had a good run. Looks like there's some archers way down on the bottom there, too, who could potentially come back and help. But at this point, I think Aristo's probably feeling decently comfortable with his chances. He can now swing back around with this Glade Lord and either use it to rear charge the units that are fighting the Way Watchers or just go after whatever blobs. Yeah, looks like the Sisters of Thorn using their last of their jabs to pick away at those Dragon Princes. They do shatter them. That's really nice. And the Wild Hunters of Kurnos, nice little charge here on those archers. Another breath attack going to be used in the late game here to absolutely wreck those spearmen. It does wreck the Way Watchers as well. A little bit painful, but hey, balance of power is still very even after all is said and done. But the terror of the Glady will be very, very important here. Nice rear charges as well with the tattered Sisters of Thorn that remain. They only have 240 HP, but the fact they have so much physical resistance means they have essentially more HP, right? So they can be used in the Slay game as long as they don't give out their leadership, which they definitely might. Looks like the Wild Hunters are gone and these Way Watchers are gone, so it's now just the Glady and the Sisters. Oh man, this is a really desperate action here. Glady gets a nice side charge in there. Oh, those spearmen, though, they are going to probably finish off the Sisters of Thorn. Way Watchers are back from route, so let's see. Balance of power is pretty clearly in the Wood Elves' favor at this point because of the Glady still being here, but let's see. According to tournament rules, once all of the multi-bottle units are gone, the Glady can no longer disengage in melee, and I would imagine that the Spearmen will have enough to drag her down. So yeah, although it was a really, really close game, very well played to both players. Risto just barely getting edged there by the spears. Yeah, tough one. Nicely done by Chosen and Norns, though. He did get overextended a couple of times, but just constantly cycling his units back and forth there so that not any one of them took too much damage. He was able to kind of force Risto to spread the damage to a lot of different units and keep a lot of tattered units around into the late game, and like especially the Lothran Sea Guard with shields in the late game fighting the dragon, obviously after they've used up their ammunition. Super cost effective here. Likewise, the Way Watchers got some really good work done. The Deepwood Scouts, a little bit sacrificial there, but at the same time, they were able to bait a lot of shots as well. Yeah, 194 kills for the Glady, absolutely massive. I think, honestly, losing the the Spell Singer was probably the decisive factor at the end of the day. It's hard to say, but if he had had the healing for the Glady, obviously, in the late game, that would have made a massive difference. Yeah, anyway, very, very fun game. Big thanks to Risto for sending that one in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. So every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.